Hello, my family. I have been sitting here this morning up until this point doing a lot of soul searching before I would get on this camera. I've had several cups of coffee, my nice little Baking Spirits Bright coffee cup. And what I was pondering about isn't what I was going to make on this video, but what I was going to say to you, because frankly, it is you I've been thinking of. Reality tells me, honestly, I can create a video, but it takes you, every single one of you, to move us to where you have taken us to beyond our wildest dreams. You have filled our cup till it runneth over. And I mean this sincerely from my heart. I know how this works. And without you, it doesn't. So I have to say again to each and every one of you, we are honored, we are thankful, and you have us totally speechless. We are just simple folks. I mean, we are who we are. Today's video is going to be talking about a tour of our pantry challenge, as we told you, or a tour of our pantry actually, because we are getting ready to do our pantry challenge. Now I'm going to spend a little bit more information on this topic right now. What we deal with at this point is the stuff that we had either gotten from the store, the things that we have worked on in our garden all spring and summer, canned, the products that we have frozen in our freezer, whether it was bought or grown. And so that's what we're going to go through today. Now, it is not perfect, and we only do this for a couple months at a time. Please, I've seen a lot of comments, and I need to verify the fact is I don't condemn anybody. You do what you have to do. You do what you like to do. You do what's comfortable for you to preparing for you and your family. We only go for a couple months because this is what we choose to do. It makes it easier for two people because the way I look at it, if I go any further than at least a year to two at the most is where our limit is. If I go beyond that for two people, I am risking the fact of losing plenty of nutrients, and some of the stuff that we bought, I mean, things do expire. Eventually things will spoil, and I don't want to look into losing what we have put into. So for two people, it makes sense to only go so far. But for anybody else with a large family, we completely understand what it takes for you and your family to provide. We have been there. But in the times that we're living in right now, it is 100% harder than it has ever been before. Literally, like I said, when we went grocery shopping, we are watching prices rise. Most part, they're at bay, but we have a feeling after Christmas and after the holidays, that at bay is going to change really quick. So we consider for each and every one of you, please do what you have to do. Don't let us or anybody else tell you how to do this. That is not our intention, and if that's the way it seemed, we sincerely apologize. But you do what you have to do for your family. We totally get it. What we're looking at, and the reason we speak of maybe doing a little extra, is for the simple fact, doing this helps you in the long run to survive. Now, my future goals, and I'm going to bring this up as to what my plans are into this challenge in the next several months, as times get to, a lot of people right now, you're buying for Christmas. It has taken a lot out of you. There are folks who do have credit cards. There are folks who do have credit. There are folks who took out a loan. There are bills to be paid. There is decrease in pay. There is many who maybe go through workman's comp, or maybe they have vacation, or maybe they got laid off their job. There are many instances that can change a financial household in a blink of an eye. We get that. We have been there and we have done that. So doing the things that you need to do now is necessary, because once it's over and the holidays and the gifts and everything are open, you are left with all the bills. You are left with all the, what am I going to do? And so we get that. I am going to be making videos on how to make a nice meal for a family as low income as possible. A prime example, did you know if you went and bought the double pack of, let's just start with this, Walmart would have a double pack of whole chickens. Now, what you can do with those whole chickens is absolutely amazing. You've got two, so let's start with one. You've got, say, a family of 5, and you need to feed this family, and you've got one hen. With that chicken, you can make at least 3 meals out of it. And what you can do is, number one, you can roast that chicken. Excuse me. Ooh, I think I got a sneeze coming on of all times. I'm going to try to get past this. Lord have mercy. Sorry, y'all. In the raw. Okay. So anyways, the chicken. You can roast your chicken. And from that, you would take 1/2 of that and shred that chicken. You can make a taco, or you can make chicken tacos out of it. You can make chicken casserole out of that. You can make, oh Lord have mercy, there's so much you can do. You can do a chicken pasta with this. You can do fajitas. I mean, there are several meals. You can take and make a cream cheese sauce Alfredo, chicken Alfredo. You can do a cream cheese sauce with chicken, broccoli, pasta, and the cream cheese sauce, and make what my mama used to call chicken divine. There is so many things you can do. So from one large hen for a family of 5, you have 1, 2, 3 meals. And you're probably wondering, how in the world am I getting 3 meals out of just 1/2 of each chicken? So you've got 2 halves, and that's 2 meals, but where's the third? The third comes in on something that is wasted a lot, never thought of. And some people have been taught in life, and it is sad. I literally have heard this, or I wouldn't mention it. I have literally had people say, that's garbage. Why would you eat garbage? But folks, those bones are not garbage. That is the most enriching broth you will ever put in your family's body. It has, the bone broth alone is so nutritional, you won't even get this from the store. For those who don't understand why you would do that, let me explain to you that a broth, we have this from the bones that we had from our turkeys, from the bones we've had from our chickens. We have bone broth in our pantry, and it is a flavor I cannot describe. It is so much better than what I get at the grocery store. I do not have to, I can eliminate the sodium that is in it and so much more. So save those bones. Make you the most amazing chicken soup you have ever served your family. You can add some pasta or orzo to it. You can add some chicken and rice soup. There's many things that you can do with those bones. So there's your third. Please don't throw that away. Make use of it. This is a way that we can serve what we have, utilize every aspect of what we can to the fullest of extent. And yes, after you have made your broth and let it sit for several hours, even overnight, I use my roasting pan, honestly, and I will set my roasting pan on a low temp, and I will allow it, about 250 for the night, and I will allow it to sit overnight, and I have the most golden, beautiful broth you have ever seen. So please utilize that. That is a meal. It is perfectly healthy for your family, and then you can turn around and discard the bones, or at this point, reuse it one more time, crush those bones up, dry them, and use them for bone meal in your garden or in your compost. Believe it or not, that is using every aspect of that chicken. So I'm hoping that gave you an idea of how to conserve, how to be, I guess people would call it frugal. My mama taught us at a young age how to use everything that we can from a meal to make it. We were a family of 5. 3 kids and my mom and dad, and it can be hard for a large family. So Mama utilized everything. Potatoes are an amazing thing that goes a long way, and you could do so much with a potato. However, to a diabetic, that can be fatal. So we get that. But the one things that you can use for a diabetic, and here's what I found to be the most realistic, frugal part. We can use a lot of cauliflower. However, fresh cauliflower is so dang expensive, it is hard to keep it in our refrigerator. But when you go to the freezer section at Walmart, we can usually get a bag of cauliflower, which will serve 2 people for 99 cents, 98 cents, maybe a little cheaper than that. So in comparison, if you were to stock for cauliflower for a type 2 diabetic, or one even, go to the frozen section for check your produce and check your freezer sections. Use both to do what you need to do to accommodate you and your pantry and your meals. Even if you do not store, even if you are not a prepper or homesteader, even if you go for 1 month at a time grocery shopping, or even 1 week at a time, these ideas are for everybody. In every aspect that you do your grocery shopping, this is for everyone. This is for everyone who wants to turn around and work a budget to be able to feed your entire family. For those with non-restrictions in your diets, pasta meals can go a long way. Now, I did a spaghetti squash segment, and for those who are diabetic, spaghetti squash can absolutely be stored in your pantry in a cool, dark area. Therefore, there is your stock for at least a couple months. There's your stock of pasta. I also gave you a recipe and an example of a very inexpensive pasta sauce. Now I'm going to pause this because I'm going to show you just the few ingredients you need just for that pasta sauce to give you an idea of what it cost. You see, when I made that recipe and I did that meal, I never calculated in the cost of what it cost for that meal. And I'm going to give you a prime example of what simple foods can be so amazingly flavorful, nutritious, and yet inexpensive. And that's my goal in the coming videos, to show you what to do as well. But I'm going to show you a prime example. Okay, y'all. So we're going to look at this point is what I'm going to feed my family of 5. Now, I have very little, if any, hamburger meat. But I do want to be able to feed them something. I want to be able to feed them something that tastes good as well. But I want a wholesome meal. I want something that's good. And so many of you are also thinking, well, I would like to step away from the preservatives as much as possible. This will allow you to do that. Now, I am thinking of, basically at this point, I don't have any meat right now, so I got to figure out how I'm going to feed my family of 5. So a 1 pound package of spaghetti, which varies about 98 cents for angel hair pasta. There is enough pasta there, and now I got to come up with a sauce. So I'm going to make a pasta sauce, a very simple pasta sauce that requires 1 can or 2, depending on the size of your family, of whole tomatoes, salt and pepper, some garlic, and either fresh or dried basil. This is all you need. Maybe even just a little bit of olive oil, just to add some of that flavor to it, or sauteing even your garlic. You can choose some onions in here if you wanted, or even a bit more of your own type of seasonings, like Italian seasoning or oregano, if you choose to do so. So very simply, you can do this. Now, this cost you approximately, let's see, it's 98 cents for this pasta. This here, what I'd say, is no more than $1.50, I believe, or $1.97. So a little bit, about $2. So, and then most everybody has salt and pepper on hand. One thing of garlic at Walmart is about 70 cents. And pretty much we all have our own seasonings. And if not, you can probably get for about $1 these days, $1.25, you can get some basil. You're looking at under $5 to feed a family of 5 and a very nice meal. This is the things that I like to do to stretch and yet be able to make homemade meals that taste good. I am one who flavor means everything. My mama taught me that, and I understand what she meant. So these are what my goals are, to help those of you, and I've seen many, and y'all, that is another thing. God love each and every one of you. Me and my husband have been reading the comments that have been coming in, and they're coming in so much. We can't reply back to each and every one of you. We absolutely try, and it's even our notifications, because they keep coming in so much, we can't keep up, and neither can the notifications. So if it seems like we're ignoring you, please know we are not. We are so thankful to you. We will try to get back to you as soon as we can. As soon as we see your comments, we will try to, at least, even if it's just a heart, to let you know we saw you. So I hope you understand we're not ignoring you, but y'all, you have no idea what you have done. When I say our cup runneth over, I am absolutely serious. You have pretty much you have made us viral. Something we never expected. Like I said, for two simple people who don't have the fancies in life, you have made us viral. And all we can do is give glory to God for that, for using us, because we will tell you, again, we will never change from who we are, because we have been there, we have done that, and still to this day, we are still here with you. We generally care. The purpose this channel was made was not for our goal, was not for our gain, but it was for you. We have been there to the point, there is only so many people when you are talking one-on-one with somebody. Many don't really want to learn what you do. Many are, well, interested, but not wanting to really implement it in their lives, which is okay. But then there are some that really do want to learn. So in order for us to reach those who want to learn, and maybe even so much farther than we are able to do, we created YouTube to be able to reach the masses. And that was the only reason this channel was created, so that we can reach the masses who are asking, who are seeking, who are wondering, how do we do this? So that was our only goal. And it still is today, and it's the way it's going to remain. Our hearts are for you, because we've been there. Like I said, we are there still to this day. So we have to make ends meet every year, and this is how we do it. So look forward to these videos coming up when I spend a lot of kitchen time. Now I'm going to take you through the pantry tour of where we're at right now and how we're going to work. And then I will try to explain a little bit about some of the ideas I have with the products that we have. Also, I will be preparing meals to show you how to use, which that's another thing we have learned. Many have been canning. I mean, and I've been there, y'all. This was my first mistake, to be honest with you. And I guess that's why I teach. I teach through experience. I teach through learning. So my first experience when I started about 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, when I first started canning, I went on a canning fiend. I canned everything and anything you can think of, but what I didn't think of is what was I gonna do with all this? Number one, I had so much jelly. I forgot there was only 2 of us. I didn't know what I was gonna do with all that. I had so many pickles, we didn't even eat them. I had so much other things that we never even used because we found we didn't like it. So now I was stuck with all this food, and then the reality hit me. The reality is all that hard work, all that money, all that time, all that effort in growing, all went in the compost or down the drain or given away. And so I wanted to make sure from there on through that me and my husband sat down and we made a plan from there on. Based by what we had done, we wanted to figure out what was going to work for us. And so far for the last 3 years since then, it has worked. We now only can what we like, what we're going to use, and so it has worked amazingly. So please make a plan for your family. This coming up new season, that's going to be our start. Make a plan for your family, what you like. Don't just can or put up anything, y'all. You need to use this, and eventually it has to be used. So that's what we have, and I'm going to show you how to use it too, because a lot of people are taught how to can, but then there's another factor. Not only is they went crazy in the canning, but they don't know how to use what they have, because it's hard to think about. Honestly, I get, when it comes to the end of this challenge, or even in the middle of this challenge, I have to usually use my brain pretty good. So it's rewarding, but it can be a thought of, what do I do? How do I do this? If you've never been taught. So that's my goal. I'm going to teach you. So I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. You know, it feels so good because I feel like I'm sitting right here with y'all. You are not just a classroom to me either, by the way. You are literally my family, and I feel like every time I get together with you, we are fellowshipping. That's very special to me. I feel like I'm literally sitting with my family. So let me stop rambling. Let's go on this pantry tour. Now I am going to start out with dehydration. Also, I've seen a lot of folks talk about dehydrating number can foods, and for the most part, there are some foods that makes no sense to me. The part where they would take a number 10 can and can it, mind you, this is, you do you and do what's good for your family. But to me, it doesn't make any sense for us because it's already processed. It's already canned, and I don't know what else I would do except for maybe one thing. For the most part, you can dehydrate vegetables and divide it up. That would be a good way of using that number 10 can in vegetables. Another thing that I would probably do would be tomato paste. And here's why. Tomato paste, I have recently learned this myself, so we're going to try it. I don't know exactly how this works, but I had some extras, and I usually do. I'll get a small can of tomato paste, and we don't use it all. So I had a couple and thought, what am I going to do with this? So I did some research, and I started finding where people were dehydrating tomato paste. And it kind of made sense to me to do that because it was shelf stable. So I did. And as I did, you can turn it into powder and reconstitute it with water, or you can turn it into sheets where you literally just put it in your pantry, reconstitute it with water, and you have tomato paste without waste. So we're going to try this. So that's an idea. If for those of you who find a deal on a number 10 can of tomato paste and you get the eyes like I do sometimes, ooh, what can I do with that? That is one idea. You can do that. You can freeze it if you wanted to also. So, because some people like to do by bulk, And if you're unsure of what to do by the bulk on tomato paste and stuff, these I'm hoping ideas will give you a chance to maybe do something without wasting it. So let's go and start our tour. Okay, y'all, so this is our dry pantry area. This is the area that's in our dining room, and actually, while you were watching me on this video, there was a door behind me, and this is the door that it leads to. This little hole in the wall that we call our dry goods pantry. Now, over here in that jar is actually fresh baked bread that I turned into breadcrumbs or bread cubes. Now, 3 things can be done with those cubes. They could be made into croutons, breadcrumbs, or even a dressing. You don't have to have a holiday to use bread dressing. So that is something, if you get extra bread, you don't know what to do with it, it's about to go stale, dry it up, put it in a jar, use it. Make breadcrumbs, do what you have to do, but don't waste it. So I decided to do that, and we're going to see how that works. We do have this mixture here between using our Mediterranean life and for using our low carb. So we're going to, here we have our sugars. Hold on one second. Sorry about that, y'all. Hubby was on the phone at the same time, so, and he's talking to people at the job. So anyways, we have our substitute sugars in here. We have our almond flour, which is, let me see if we can get this here, back behind here. We have our cornmeals and stuff. Like I said, this is mixed between both. We have our orzo pasta, our coconut flour, golden flax seed. We have vital wheat gluten. We have, I've got some ordered right now of arrowroot powder, xanthan gum. We have all of our dry ingredients here. This here was used to make in our homemade mustards. And we have our teas, our potatoes, both shredded and sliced. Our seasonings to make au gratin, pastas, powdered milk. We love popcorn for a snack. So then we have our seasonings of dehydrated celery, salt, parsley, garlic, onions, our cheese flavorings. Down here is a lot of our seasonings as well, along with our breadcrumbs, dried green onions, which I'm still going to do more because we have some out in the garden. So this is just our dry goods section. Now it starts getting a little bit out of control as we go further down. But I'll step back and show you just about the big picture about here of what we do throughout the winter, including our flour mixes and our potatoes. So this is our dry goods sections, and this is what helps sustain us. We keep an eye on everything, and we go from there. So I'm going to step into other areas that we have and show you these. Okay, we have in our kitchen, now that door right there was the one that went into the pantry I just showed you. My husband built that sliding door, and it's actually really amazing. I love that thing. So then over here we have our lentils and stuff like this here, some wild rice and things. And then we have our other canned goods in this place, like sauerkraut, and it's just miscellaneous, and our mustards over in this corner. And then we go basically over here, and in this cabinet, I'll go ahead and open this up for you. Hang on. Okay, in this cabinet is where we will have, now we do like a nice protein snack. That one of the best protein snacks that we can have, although we understand it's not for everybody, would be sardines. So we do stock on them. We have our mayonnaise. We have our tomatoes. These are the big cans, so it was easier to put them in here. And then we have our olive oil. That is the one thing I want to make sure we have on top of ghee, which goes in our refrigerator. So these are the small areas. That's what we use. And go ahead and fix this up. Okay, so now this is our other hole in the wall place, where the biggest storing room that we have. And this is where all of our canned goods, whether we home canned or purchased, goes into. I'm going to take you, as we now built, we used to have just one section across this wall. We now have expanded it into two. And that has been absolutely amazing. I never thought we could expand that far or we would need to, but we have, and it's been amazing. Here we have our canned meats of chicken. We have our hamburger over here. We have beef. And up here we have some chicken soup. Now this chicken soup is more than just a chicken soup. We can literally make some chicken pot pie out of this. We can make chicken soup, the lemon guacamole that I have told you or showed you on Mediterraneans. We can turn this into dumplings, or turkey and dumplings. So that is something that we put new in here. We're going to try that out. Yes, we do have some Spam, and we have some pink salmon. Over here we have our hamburger, which this can go several different ways of using hamburger, like you all use anyways. We have Mr. Parton's Vienna sausages, because he likes these for a protein snack at times. This is where we have our chickpeas and our tuna. Now some of this is going to get dark because we only have one light in this little hole in the wall. We do have our chili here. We're hoping that's enough, because this chili is actually amazing. We have already started using it. It is really, really good. We have our stock of our cannelli beans here. We have our red beans over here. This is our beans section. And then we have, in this little space here, our pastas and stuff like that in half-gallon jars, along with some more dried beans and rice down here. And our green tomatoes. Let me see if I can get this and show it to you this way. We have our green tomatoes that we did, so we can have fried green tomatoes this winter. That is one of our new ones as well. So, and then that was this side. And now we're going to go to this side here, and the broth that I was telling you about. Now this is beef broth, y'all. That whole thing there, and that's our chickpeas, dried chickpeas that I can make my hummus out of. And then back in this corner is black beans. We have our beans and ham, which is black-eyed peas and ham. We have, that's a new one this year, is our mushrooms. Both those stacks are mushrooms right there. We found we absolutely love them. We have our mashed potatoes, and then we have our garlic and herb potatoes. Each was done with this different product. These were done with red potatoes. This was done with russet potatoes. You can see that the russets are a little bit more starchy. That is why I would only use that for a mashed potato, and that's it. We're going to even try and see if really it's worth doing that. I do know I have loved it from last year. The red potatoes are phenomenal. You can literally roast those, fry them, make a potato salad out of them. They are amazing. That is something I would continually keep doing. We have our miscellaneous here. I've got some pumpkin in the background to do some baking with it. Just a small amount of corn, because Mr. Parton really can't have corn, but he can do just a little bit. I had to have my cranberries. This is not enough, but we're going to wait till they go on sale. We have our sugar-free cranberry sauce on the top, and then down here is my cranberry juice. Here we have that chicken stock I was telling you about. This is something we absolutely keep on our shelf constantly. Every time we take a whole bird, turkey or chicken, we will turn it into stock, because we literally go through this. This is actually the third time we've been using it, and I've had to replace it. So then we have our jalapenos here. Over here we have our greens. It's hard to see here, but we have our mixed greens. Down here is all of our tomato products. We have our fire roasted tomatoes, because we make our own salsa, we make our own sauces, everything. So we have our diced, our fire roasted dice, we have our sauces, and then we have our home canned. The reason we end up doing cans this year is we did not get enough tomatoes to can. So we ended up having to do an alternative because the heat took our tomatoes out. But we are thankful for that. The same thing with our green beans, which is down here. So we had our home canned green beans over here, and then we ended up having to get purchased stores. We have these are the squashes that I told you, and I do plan on getting a couple more squashes for the winter. And that's about it, y'all. This is what we're going to be working with, along with what we have in our freezer. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up, and we will be right back. And so for 2 people, that is the extent of our pantry. And we do have one more shelf over here, which is miscellaneous, like snacks with our nuts and different type of flour sources and things like that. So we have enough for 2 people to keep us going for a couple months. Now, mind you, that does not mean that we cannot or we will not be shopping whatsoever, because that is unrealistic and that would be a lie, and I don't plan on lying to anybody. We don't own milk cows, or we don't own ways of, we can do some cheese, but it would require me to buy some milk, which I'm going to do some feta. We can find ways to cutting cost, but we still have to buy products. What this does for us, though, is not have to buy as much, because we have been doing what we can throughout the summer, without the spring, and throughout the fall, to sustain us for quite some time, to keep us from having to do this massive amount of spending, especially once Christmas and New Year's are over. Those seem to be the hardest months. And that's the time when it starts getting really cold and my husband's job will start decreasing. So that at that point, we have to concentrate on just paying the bills. So this will sustain us for, even if it sustained us for 3 months, we made an accomplishment. So I'm not sorry at all. And I can still make the most amazing homemade meals out of everything we have. Yeah, I do have some pasta put up and that. And like I said, he is being able to tolerate a little more than he used to, but he still has to be able to have the foods that generate for him, as far as the type 2 diabetic, that's safe. I will be making videos on low carb meals for the many of you who are type 2 diabetic, even type 1. I do have the Mediterranean, which will supply everybody in that case. It's just fresher food. So, and everything is homemade. I seen some of you had asked me about sourdough. Absolutely, I will do a segment just on sourdough for you. I'm actually getting ready to take some of my discard, which, to explain what discard is, and I think I've done this before, when you go to feed your sourdough, there's tough times that you take away from it, and then you will feed with what's left. This that you took away is called discard. Don't get rid of this. This is something you can make. You can make breads. You can make so many things with that. Don't waste that. So the problem is, the only difference is what you make fresh in your jar, that does not require yeast. That is a full yeast. But what you have that you pulled off may require a little bit of yeast to help boost it, because it has lost some of the boosting compared to the fresh. Otherwise, it's still sourdough and it still tastes absolutely amazing. I am actually going to be making us individual pizzas from that discard, and I may go ahead and make a video on that. I will also include, there's a part 1 and 2 in our videos on how to make your own feta cheese. I find it way less inexpensive. I mean, I initially bought the rennet that I could put in my freezer. You can get several makings of cheese out of the package of rennet that you get for about $7 on Amazon. And so I find that I truly love it. My husband, he's not fond of feta, but I am, and it will take me for quite a while. So I mean, half and nothing, I can get almost a 2-pound container of cheese basically, and I put it in a half-gallon jar, and it takes me a month or two to go through it. So that's perfect for just a gallon of milk. And so I will try to link those in the description for you so that you can refer back to both those videos on how to make your own feta cheese. I will probably do a segment on how to make mozzarella cheese, because I am finding a small little ball of fresh mozzarella is about $4, and the log is about $8 these days. So for a gallon of milk, honestly, I can make it a whole lot cheaper. So I will probably be doing a segment on that during this challenge to show you how to make your own mozzarella, because I make what is called an Italian margherita pizza, and I love it. And that's what I'm going to be making tonight. Where hubby, on the other hand, he likes the variety of everything from meat and vegetables. He calls it his supremes. So we'll do that with him. I will be doing some segments on bread products that we found tasted good in the low carb area for those who are diabetic, so you can have a bread source if you chose to, and even in desserts. Y'all, there is so many cooking segments between our lifestyle with low carb and Mediterranean that will also fit in all American if you choose to want it, that we will be doing, that I'm hoping helps many. As you see, we don't have a whole lot, but we have a lot. And our choices will bring us many, many, many lovely meals that I will be glad to share with you. I will always give you a recipe. I've done that so far. I do not mind sharing with you, because I think everybody needs a chance to be able to survive for their families. When I cook, it will just be for two. So a lot of my recipes you probably may have to double, or you will find that I will give you the recipe, but I'm going to only do half. So either way, it's going to work out for you. So I'm hoping this video has helped you. You now see where we're going to start with. And in about 2 weeks, right after Christmas, y'all, that's going to be it. We're going to start our pantry challenge. So I hope you stick with us and hang with us. If this is something that you're interested in, let's go on this journey together. If it's not for you, we completely understand, and we thank you very much for checking out the home and for spending a little bit of time with us. Thank you so, so much. So let's see what happens, y'all. Let's see where we go. Let's see how things work out. And during this challenge, we'll let you know how with the new things that we added, if it was worth keeping, and so on and so forth. So we got a lot of content, y'all. I could sit and talk to you all day, because sometimes I ramble on, I guess, motor mouth. But I guess my family's gone most of the time, so I need someone to talk to. That's pathetic. I love you all. And until next time, much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead.